Good morning, everyone. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Lord have mercy, this hair. Shout out to everybody. How's everybody doing? Let me fix this. It's going to bug me the whole stream. Hold up. It's a hair thing, you guys. Forgive me. It's why I should always remain as an avatar so I don't have to look at myself in the hair. Shout out to everybody. Is everybody here? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness, everybody. Let me see all the beautiful, wonderful members. Guys, I had to push the stream back because guess what? I actually slept in. I can't blame it on Baby Bunny this time. And if I have an opportunity to sleep in, I'm going to take it. Okay. I'm going to take it. I'll get enough sleep as it is. So, my apologies. I'm sorry. Don't fire me. Sleep is important. Okay, let me see who's in the house. Welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ooh, all right. Chico, how you doing, love? Hope you're doing well. Tricky Vicky, welcome. Oh my goodness. Infamous truth teller. Um, let's see. Tammy, how you doing, love? Oh my gosh. Everybody come through. Thank you. How you doing? I just panicked thinking I was late, and they said, "No, you're fine. You're not late." I was the one that was late, but I'm telling on myself. Rose with Thorn, Lori, Stormy, welcome. Thank you, Lori. Spooky Paws. How you doing, love? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Okie, generally Jenny, everybody's right on time. Okay, everybody. Uh, Shout out to you. Shout out to you, generally Jenny. Anna, how you doing, love? Okay, everybody come through. Nola, Lola, how you doing, love? All right. Let me see who else is in the house. Rose with Thorns, how you doing, Nebulous? Teresa, Chico. All right. Beautiful, messy ball. Welcome, love. Chrissy B, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, how are you, love? Shout out to you. I'm a seahorse, puzzled to pieces. Matt Bond, how you doing? Nope, I'm not here. Welcome, welcome. All right. And let me just say something. Sandra Price, welcome. Infamous is in the house. You guys are awesome. Shauna B, welcome. Ange, welcome. I got Coco playing in the background over here. I love that movie. Stacy, welcome, love. Adas, Chaos. All right. Everybody come through. Thank you for being here. Pay Girl, Dorothy, Alyssa. How you doing, love? Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Let's get it together. Let me just say something real quick and just something that I need to address right away. I was, like I said, I slept in, I was a little late, but I did get to look in the chat. Let me explain something to you guys. It is extremely rude when a content creator has a title and a thumbnail ready to go to talk about a topic, and somebody comes in here with some drama about another content creator. You will be immediately blocked. This is no shade or anything, but also there's a lack of respect for the person that's spending the time here, just as well as the people that are here with their notifications on and all that other stuff. So please know, if you need somebody to address a drama, this is not the stream for it. There's a gazillion other channels that'll do it for you. Get the fuck stepping, okay? Take it how that is. In addition to that, all right, if you decide to unsub, this is not the airport. We don't announce departures. Get the fuck stepping. People miss their flights here all the time. Go. All right? Thank you. Shout out to everybody. Thank you, thank you. Oh, we're gonna celebrate that. I promise you that. Thank you. Shout out to all the mods. Shout out to all the mods. Exactly. That's how I see it. All right. Okay. Let's get it together. Spooky Paws, everybody come through. Thank you guys. Daisy. Daisy's like, phew. Oh my, I'm just saying, it's extremely rude. We're here to talk about, there's a title, there's content. I work hard, you know what I'm saying? And I schedule myself accordingly. Hold up. Why do I hear the intro playing somewhere else? Give me one sec. Okay, I have another tab open here. Must be this one. Okay, cool. All right, let's get it together and stop the BS. Shout out to everybody. Let me see what I can show you here. So, first of all, a couple days ago, I want to say a week exactly, we talked about the ALEXEE Trevizo case. We reviewed the amended complaint, the wrongful death lawsuit. We did a pretty thorough review here as well. I have it here. And we knew that I think we foretold this was going to happen. We knew that there was going to be some type of level of fault or something that was going to be like they were going to push for the hospital to take some level of something here. They wanted to take the heat off of Lexi. Okay, so now we have that amended wrongful death complaint. It's out there. Okay, in addition to that, I think now like Law and Crime picked it up. You have the New York Post that has picked it up as well. This is a case that is heavily being monitored and reviewed. So in the New York Post, and this was literally what 2 days ago, ALEXEE TREVIZO'S attorney blames hospital for death of baby found in the trash can. We knew that this was going to happen. We called it out. Part of it, why we called it out, is because we kind of like a lot of us, we were debating very early on as we were covering this case, excuse me, whose fault is it? Like, is it the hospital? Like, why didn't the hospital check on her? We were kind of going back and forth. Even the internet and the TikTokers were even fighting amongst each others about whose fault is this. And some of us, we were kind of sitting there and just hearing things out. All right, we were like, let's just hear things out. I told you guys my opinion. I do feel like, and I've said it before, there was a failure from the hospital side to the baby, not to the treatment of ALEXEE TREVIZO. ALEXEE did not tell this hospital that she was pregnant. She says she didn't know. Okay, I'll give her that. There were ample opportunities for her to have pulled the cord while she was in the bathroom, for her to have said something to the hospital staff. Yeah, ALEXEE's own actions caused the death of this baby. Definitely. However, it was the hospital's inactions that is also responsible to the baby. All right? Meaning that if they had taken a pregnancy test and they knew she was pregnant and she was denying it, there should have been some level of protocol to have determined what other steps to do. Nola, I think they had done a urine test before the blood test, because the urine test could tell you you're pregnant, right? The HCG test could tell you like your blood count level and all that other stuff. That's where we were like, well, wait a minute. If you knew she was pregnant and then they confronted her about being pregnant and she denied it. So the nurse, or excuse me, the doctor, when she did her interview, we could watch it. She said that she thought she was having a miscarriage. So that's how she was treating her, because she was complaining of back pain. So my thought process was, I completely understand the wrongful death lawsuit. However, I don't think a nurse killed this baby. I don't like the narrative like that, because that's like saying too much, like you're putting a false narrative out there. The nurse did not put the baby, or any of those medical stuff did not put the baby in the trash can. Put the baby in there, put paper towels in there, put another liner on top of it. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. We saw the body cam footage where they pulled the trash can out. They also, one thing that they failed to even like clarify, because we saw the interviews, all right? They didn't go in there ripping the trash can liner out to see if there was a baby. No, they didn't. They waited, they stood. When ALEXEE TREVIZO left that bathroom, okay, because she was in there for 19 minutes, delivering, had the placenta, umbilical cord, all that other stuff. When she was in there, she left that bathroom with bloody socks, a trail of blood running from her, area all the way to her feet. Okay? So the doctor, and we caught that in that body cam footage, we caught it. The doctor sees her, the doctor that's treating her sees her, walks out of that bathroom, and the doctor looks at her socks. And Lexi just throws a paper towel and puts it in the trash and then walks back into the room like nothing had happened. Lord have mercy, we have a problem. We have a problem, right? There's a problem. Thank you. Yes. And people have said, okay, she looks pregnant in the pictures and videos. So the hospital had to have noticed that too. She looked pregnant. I don't know. Jennifer says Alexi and her mom only care about Lexi getting her own way. It's absolutely disgusting how entitled they are. She went to the hospital for help, then hid in the bathroom. Yes. And she said so. Chico, thank you for gifting memberships. And shout out to Christina for becoming a member as well. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are awesome. Yes. If when there was ample opportunity. Okay. So let's just say, let's for the sake of an argument, let's say that she didn't know when she went there. She didn't know she was pregnant. You know what I'm saying? For the sake of the argument, let's just say that she did not know she was pregnant. She didn't know she was pregnant. Well, she knew she had a baby after she put the baby in the trash can, right? She knew she had a baby after she had the baby. She was there for 20 minutes. There was a emergency cord near the toilet, right? She could have said, "Oh yeah, I am pregnant, but I put the baby in the trash can." No. The buck stops with her. Ruth, thank you for saying that. Chico, thank you for the gifted membership again, love. Shout out to you. Thank you for the buck stops with her. You can only blame the hospital for so much. If there is one thing that I do agree with the charge nurse, even though I didn't really necessarily like him like that, he said that they didn't give the opportunity to the staff, the medical staff, to save this baby's life. The buck stops with her. It does. So y'all can blame what is it, people were blaming COVID, people were blaming the cocktail of dangerous medicines, people were blaming all kinds of stuff on Lexi. However, then the argument becomes, and I think this is where an attorney would have to argue, is would the medication that she took, the 5 or 6 pain medication that she took, is that therapeutically safe for a mom who is expecting? Or would that have caused the death of this baby? The autopsy of this child said that this child died of entrapment. Okay? Keep that in mind. Yeah, Mimi, she could have said, you know what? I had a baby. So when did she realize she was pregnant? Because when she went back to the room, she said in her own words, I can't. It wasn't breathing. It wasn't breathing. That's what she said. All right. Let me take a drink of this coffee. Then we're going to get into this mess. That's right. That's right. That's right. Morphine is something that is given to women during labor. I've had it with my 3 deliveries. Me too. Me too. Baby bunny, that epidural did not work. I'll tell you guys that right now. They did not work. But that's right. That's right. And that was a tough delivery that right there with that baby bunny. All right, so let's talk about this article from the New York Post. Okay, so they posted it like 2-3 days ago. An attorney for ALEXEE TREVIZO, the New York teen who allegedly dumped her newborn in a hospital, can and has, excuse me, in the hospital trash can, has blamed the facility, alleging that the staff gave her drugs that caused the baby's death, according to a new report. According to the court documents, we reviewed those, by the way. The other playlist, check it out. An attorney for ALEXEE TREVIZO, the New Mexico teen who allegedly dumped her newborn in a hospital trash can, has blamed the facility, alleging that the staff gave her drugs that caused the baby's death, according to a new report. Now, wait a minute. I don't know why they're using the word allegedly, because the baby was found in the trash and who put the baby there was Alexei. So there is no allegedly. That was what we saw happen through the body cam footage, right? Well, we didn't see the bathroom, but that's what they pulled out of there, and she was the last patient to have gone into that bathroom. Okay? So I'm just going to say that. Alexei, 19, had repeatedly denied her pregnancy and claimed the infant was stillborn on January 27th. But the New Mexico office of the medical investigators eventually ruled the death a homicide, and she was criminally charged. But her attorney now claims she has been unfairly vilified, denied she strangled her son to death, and accusing medical staff at the Artesia General Hospital of plying her, with a cocktail of drugs, including morphine, that killed the child before the birth. The fact is, she did not kill her baby. The testing that was done to determine that she did is so inadequate that it is medieval, says Gary Mitchell. How would Gary Mitchell know anything about medieval? So Gary Mitchell is the attorney. Lord, Gary Mitchell is her attorney. Have y'all seen that? We've seen those interviews here. Who is he to tell people that it was medieval? I can't. It is. I know, right, Shauna? They're saying allegedly to keep them from getting sued. Right. Good point. Mm-mm-mm. Good point. Good point. He's like 8,000. Stop it, Lady Bird. He said it. He said that whatever they did was just ridiculous. All right, cool. Let me put this on pause real quick. There was no strangulation. This is not a murder case, the attorney said, adding that he will show that the drugs Trevizo allegedly received before the staff knew she was about to give birth are inappropriate for pregnant women, particularly those in labor. This certainly was the primary cause of death of the baby. Guess what does? Guess what does major? Hold up. Guess what does cause major breathing issues in fetuses? Morphine, he told the Daily Mail. Wow. So remember when Lexi came out of the she was there, right? And this is the screenshot of it where she says it wasn't breathing or nothing. Exactly. Right, Lex. It wasn't breathing or anything. That's what she said. She said it wasn't breathing or anything. So immediately this attorney is saying that the morphine causes breathing issues for fetuses. Issues in fetuses. He's not even saying baby. He's just saying issues in fetuses. Guess what does cause major issues in fetuses? Morphine. That's what he said. Right. I thought people had that's what I thought too. That's what I thought too. They should check those tox levels. He wasn't a fetus. He was a full-term baby. That's right, Teresa. He was a full-term baby. He was. Rabbit, has there have been any DNA tests to determine paternity? Yes, there was a DNA test, and I'm pretty sure they established that Alex Fierro is the father of this baby. They ordered one. And they asked for it to be expedited. So keep that in mind. Also, the hospital staff did lie about what happened after the baby was found. Yes, we saw that. The hospital staff, and let me tell you, it could be, look, I'm not giving excuses to the hospital staff. This is what happened. Let me give you guys, and Mom of Gladiator, I'm so glad you're pointing this out. This Lexi had this baby on the 27th. All of this happened they went from the 26th to the 27th. She went to the hospital in the morning. Okay. Keep that in mind. And the baby died on the 27th. Okay. Of January. This is all January. So all of that happened in January, but the police department did not actually do the interviews until April, mid-April. Late April, actually, around the 25th, 24th. We reviewed those dates here as well on the playlist. You guys can check it out. We reviewed those, right? One of the things that was said in those interviews from April to January, where the head charge nurse said that the baby was immediately taken to trauma 2 once the baby was found inside the trash can, right? That's what was done. That's not the case. That's not what we saw on the camera footage. We did not see. They stood there and they were looking and they were going back and forth. They couldn't believe their eyes. When Lexi left that bathroom, it was blood everywhere, right? So they immediately called somebody from housekeeping, okay? The custodial staff. They went in there and they were cleaning. The custodial staff noticed that blood wasn't like in the liner. The liner was a fresh new liner. Okay, somebody had put a fresh new liner in this trash can, but blood was everywhere. They were cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. Okay. And she notices there's a new liner. She picks up the trash and she notices that it's heavy. There was a brand new liner on top of this liner, this trash, and noticed that she saw a baby, and the bag had already been like to his face. So the baby suffocated in there. Okay. Suffocated. Entrapment. That's what they qualified the death. She takes the trash can, takes it out, okay? And essentially, like, I don't even think she took it. I think she left it there. She calls nursing staff to come in. Everybody goes in there. They're walking in there back and forth and then take this trash and actually take it out. But we don't ever actually see them go into trauma 2. Nothing. This baby stayed in this liner, in this trash can for quite some time. Yes. So the nurse, the doctor who was in the room with Lexi is alerted. Everybody's alerted, but this baby is actually not taken out of that liner. When the interviews are done with the doctor now in April, because this happened in January, okay? April, the doctor is saying that there was no life-saving measures done on this baby, which is another like, whoa, what do you mean? So she said that based on touch, based on the color of the baby, this baby was already gone. So she did not want to disturb a crime scene. Although court TV will have you believe, based on their, panelists, it's completely wrong information about what actually happened there. Okay, keep that in mind. There were no life-saving measures. The doctor essentially, based on her assessment, based on what she saw, based on the skin, the touch, this baby was already gone. Baby was already gone, suffocated in there. There was an emergency cord right next to that toilet area. She didn't pull that emergency cord. She didn't do nothing. Nothing happened. There was nothing life-saving for this baby. Okay? So she goes back into her room. She sits there, and this is where she's being confronted about the baby's full term, 9 months and everything, and she's just like, it wasn't breathing or nothing. It wasn't breathing. So she tried to hide it. She didn't tell anybody in there. She tried to hide it. She tried to hide it. Hey, just Jay, welcome in. I know everybody, welcome. Thank you guys. Okay, so now the attorneys, and this is again the attorneys for the civil matter of the wrongful death lawsuit, okay, are going to dispute the cause of the death for this baby. His name is Alex. They named the baby Alex Fierro. Fierro is the last name of Devin Fierro, the father. Okay, keep that in mind for those that are new to this brand new case. So this is the picture. Everybody's seen that. Mitchell claimed a toxicology report shows that the baby had 0.19 nanograms of morphine in his system at birth, and that he also tested positive for COVID-19, influenza A and B, and severe acute respiratory syndromes, or SARS, according to the outlet. The attorney also reiterated that the high school uh, cheerleader contentions that she did not know she was pregnant, even though she had gained weight, which she has blamed on birth control pills, which is interesting. When we review the toxicology report, the baby also had phetamine. That's what it was, phetamine. So Alexei was already on birth control. Okay, girls get on birth control not just for sex. There's other reasons why women get on birth control. Keep that in mind. And she was still saying, she wasn't having sex. Mom was saying, I'm buying her feminine products. She's not having sex, right? However, in an interview with one of the nurses, Lexi asked, and this is not on the body cam footage. This is what one of the nurses is saying that Lexi asked her about diet pills and stopping birth control. So if you stop birth control and you take diet pills, will there be an issue? Something to that effect was the question that Lexi asked the nurse. And the nurse was really like hesitant to even answer some of her questions because she's like, girl, you just had a baby. The baby was found in the trash can. This is a murder scene right now. I probably shouldn't be talking to you at all. Right? So she knew She was taking birth control. Now, whether she was taking birth control for sex, could be, or could be for her periods, or could be for skin issues. Women take birth control for their skin issues. Could she have stopped her birth control and said, "I stopped my birth control because I'm getting, I'm gaining weight, and I'm going to take these diet drugs, and that's what I'm going to do"? Could be, could be, right? And then here she's having sex with Devin. She gets pregnant. One of the questions that I had is, Devin also claims that he didn't know she was pregnant. The day that the body cam footage, January, when they were all being interviewed, Devin was in the hospital too. The officer asked, "Would you be the father?" And Devin says, "Yes, yes." Yeah, they prescribe birth control to women for everything, it seems. They do. They do. Um, and I'm not gonna, I know I've had to take it for, issues outside of, there are other benefits to it. That's what I'm gonna say. Other benefits to it. It does help. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have struggled with fibroids. So yeah, it does help with that. It's helpful. It is. So it's not only just for sex. There's other issues, other things that birth control is used for. So yes, thank you for saying that. Okay, so ooh, where did I leave off? That is not the article that I'm at. Here it is. Okay, so she gained, you know, this is what Gary Mitchell is quoting. Women will say to me, she gained 10 or 15 pounds, so she must have known. But she was on her period when she went to the hospital, he told the outlet, which yes, you can be. You can still have your period and be pregnant. Okay? Very, very true. Scientifically, 1 in 2,500 women do not know they are pregnant when they deliver, especially teenagers, Mitchell said. She went to McDonald's every day with her boyfriend. She thinks she was putting on weight. It's normal. She was taking birth control and had a period. She didn't feel kicking and she didn't feel sick. Wow. Why would she think she's pregnant? He added. Mitchell describes to the outlet what he claimed his client was administered at the hospital in a timeline. He says on January 27, she goes into the hospital and arrives around 12:03 a.m. to about 12:05 a.m. She is admitted. At 12:18, they start giving her muscle relaxants, he said. At 12:28 a.m., they give her morphine when they also give her pain medication that continues for 111 minutes. They give her a, what is it? Ke- Keto relic? Is that how you say that? Y'all help me in the chat. Which you are not meant to give to pregnant women. And another medication for nausea. Not even going to try to say it. So the K medicine is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medication used to treat pain. And then this NSAIDs have the potential for causing fetal cardiovascular adverse reactions, according to the National Institute of Health. The O medicine is prescribed during pregnancy to help with symptoms of nausea and vomiting. The the NIH says. So they give her the C medicine, a muscle relaxer, Tylenol, and morphine, which you are definitely not meant to give during labor. At about 12:28 a.m., she is given morphine and a blood test. At 12:51 a.m., they knew she was pregnant. Mitchell added. At 1:39 a.m., she enters the bathroom. They had removed the IV so she could go to the bathroom. Mm. Treviso has been charged with murder or abusing a child resulting in death in tampering with evidence after secretly delivering the boy in a hospital bathroom. In legal filings obtained by the Daily Mail, Mitchell also claimed hospital staff and city workers violated HIPAA by sharing his client's medical records and discussing the case. The teen, who also admitted earlier in the day with back pain, aroused suspicion when she looked herself when she locked herself inside for a long time. Body cam footage from the nighttime of the birth reveals nurses eventually opened the door and a bloody scene with doctors initially believed was Treviso trying to terminate her pregnancy. Well, see, now this right here is very interesting that they wrote this. They believe she was trying to terminate her pregnancy. So if they believe that, why wouldn't they have opened the door if that's what she was trying to do? If they believe that that's what she was trying to do. 1 second. Sorry, guys. Um, I don't know who wrote that there. I don't know. I don't know. Now, mind you, they did file all those motions, and then the district attorney responded to all those motions. We are waiting for the court to see, like, that district attorney, how she wrote those motions was like, wow. She said no HIPAA was violated. She said, she she further said because they requested a change of venue for Lexi in order for her to attend the University of New Mexico with her father of this baby, Devin. The district attorney said, you're violating the conditions of her release with this new motion. Yeah, no, she can't be doing that. That's what they said. That's what they said. Yes, exactly. Like from the footage that we saw, they were in shock. They were in shock. They didn't know what they just saw. There was numerous healthcare staff there. Numerous. Keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Matt, for the $5. By they knew, is it the lab knew from blood or the nurses knew? The nurses may not have checked results yet. They may have been busy. Good point. What did they mean by they knew? Right? They knew what? They asked her if she was pregnant and she denied being pregnant. Okay? They asked her. She also didn't disclose whether she was having sex. So, which again, and then she's misusing birth control. Yeah, that could result into a pregnancy. If you're on birth control and you're misusing it or not taking it, or you're supposed to be doing it at a certain time and you miss a day or whatever, your chances of getting pregnant increase significantly. It's kind of like out there. Okay. So there's a quote. I'm sorry, it came out of me and I didn't know what to do. I was scared. Trevizo, who had previously denied ever having sex, said in a body cam footage. That's what she said. So after they find this baby had passed away, after a crime has occurred, the crime scene, okay? And by the way, I'm glad that it was pointed out that, all right, you have the crime scene. HIPAA goes out the window after the hospital staff call and let you know that there was a crime that had occurred. Okay. HIPAA goes out the window. Information, all that other, your privacy is out. All right. But that's the argument they tried to make. Keep that in mind. Interesting. Even antibiotics can cancel out the birth control working. Right. So I would assume that she would have had a doctor prescribe her that if that's what she was taking. Yes, yeah. HIPAA goes out. Shout out to you, Pebbles. The argument that the attorney was trying to make in the new motions, and luckily the district attorney said, "What are you talking about?" We read that 19-page motion here, and we talked about it. We broke it down. How the hell does HIPAA apply when a crime has occurred, when you intentionally caused the death of this baby? And she says, and I quote, "I'm sorry, it came out of me, and I didn't know what to do. I was scared." To me, that is fault. That is fault. I'm sorry. It came out of me. I didn't know what to do and I'm scared. And mama was right there. If they were so concerned about HIPAA, okay, and this is where the hospital, I think, effed up big time. This is why I feel like there was a failure from the hospital. Why didn't they separate the mama with Lexi? The mama was right there, okay, and she was being mama bear all the time. I'm not trying to imitate the lady, but what did she say? Lexi, I told you about this. Yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. This is the most overbearing mother. But you know what? As a Latina myself, I understand because I've had that in my family. You got the mama right there. They're very overbearing. All right. But she said, Lexi, I told you about this. Mija, what are you doing? No, girl, I know. I come from that. I understand. Just saying. I think she was more scared about the mama. I'm just going to be honest with you. She wasn't scared about her actions. She was scared about the mama. was spot on. I've been listening to a lot of impersonations. I'm sorry, and I've been watching this over and over. So now it's like it comes natural. All right. So she previously denied having sex, said in a body cam footage. The young woman has been described as a master manipulator who even named the baby Alex before killing him, her former classmates have alleged. Yeah, remember we broke that down. Some classmates have spoken now. We have had classmates reach out to us, actually to me, and I was like, listen, this is an actual criminal investigation thing going on. I am not trying to get involved. We don't want any subpoenas over here. So shout out to them. Sent them in their merry way. She knew she was pregnant and hid it for almost everyone. She told me she had just gained weight because she was on the pill, one ex-classmate told the Daily Mail. A spokesperson for the Artesia General Hospital did not immediately respond to a request for a comment by the Post. Mitchell could not be reached at his office on Tuesday. All right, so that cancels that's that argument. Now, Law and Crime also did a little thing, okay? We're going to watch that here a little bit. So everybody understands. I saw that the lawyer, I'm not familiar with him. As far, first time I've ever really heard. I've heard of him before, but I think he did like also a breakdown of it. So I would be kind of curious to know what that looks like as well. I'm curious. Maybe I'll watch that at some point. But let me know your thoughts as we're watching this.
Her lawyer, Gary Mitchell, told thedailymail.com that he has filed a notice of intent to sue the hospital, claiming Trevizio was given a number of drugs that caused the baby to stop breathing. This is what Gary Mitchell told Law and Crime in an interview recently.
She had worked out that day on the cheer team for almost 4 hours, or a little over 4 hours, from 2:30 to 7, and then was dehydrated from that. So trying to get a UA was a bit difficult, but when you do a blood test, which they took, it will also tell you whether or not you're pregnant. And it did. And that happened at 50 minutes after midnight. And she went to the hospital thinking that she was suffering from low back pain and severe abdominal pain, and went there and indicated on a pain scale of 1 to 10 that she was at a 10. But not a single one of them told her that she was pregnant. Not a single one of them told her that we need to examine you. This is a classic instance. The female feels the need to go to the restroom. Maybe we better check and make sure she's not delivering a baby. I mean, you just don't allow that kind of thing if you know what you're doing. They did, and they didn't bother to tell her. And
so keep that in. I don't know what they did. They asked her, and she denied being pregnant. Could she be pregnant? Could they be pregnant? That they did. They did tell her. They said, so that's when the hospital staff said, we think that she's having a miscarriage. So they had to keep an eye on her, right? And we know I've had a couple miscarriages. I understand. When you have a miscarriage, especially like if you're further along, they're unpredictable. They want to check your HCG levels because you might have, especially if you're bleeding. Yeah, you could bleed out of this. You need to have a DNC. That is a real thing. So I'm just like, okay, let's keep playing.
The child, we know, had morphine in the system. It only got that morphine because the hospital gave it to him. And the hospital didn't stop the medication after they learned that she was pregnant. They didn't take the IV out then. They waited 48 minutes and continued to give her not only morphine, but sodium chloride, that's salt. That's not unusual, and that should be. Ketorolac, Zofran, and morphine. So this is a situation in which the hospital failed her, the nurses and doctors failed her, the office of the medical investigator has failed her.
I've reached out to Gary Mitchell for a comment. At the time of this recording, he has not yet responded.
They did not fail her. They failed the baby. This is a great question. Not that Nikki says, why no ultrasound? The ultrasound happened afterwards, I believe. The ultrasound happened after she had delivered because they wanted to make sure that the placenta had been delivered and all that other stuff. However, they also transported her to a bigger hospital. This hospital right here was not a it's not like an OBGYN type of hospital. They're not they don't have that kind of equipment to help in like labor and delivery, right? That's what it's been said. Yeah, she failed herself. That's a good point. I don't think that the hospital failed her. The hospital, listen, if you come in there and you say I have this ailment, and then you say, well, you don't disclose the fact that you stopped taking birth control and you started taking these diet pills, or like you deny the fact that you even had sex, that you could be pregnant. Yeah, like who failed who, right? I don't think that they failed her care necessarily. I think they failed that baby. There were so many inactions from the hospital from the time that they decided not to separate them to, because she's 19, she's an adult, okay, to everything that followed. I'm just saying. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yes, the ultrasound tech was on the way in, but I think this had already happened. She had already delivered this baby. Everything had already happened. They did do an ultrasound at the very end, and the placenta had already been delivered. All this other stuff, yeah. And period. She tried hiding the baby. She was scared. She said, "I'm scared." Midwife Kay says she failed herself. She said, "I'm scared." Lord, that girl thought she was the Virgin Mary herself. Stop. Oh my God. Yes, the baby failed the baby so much. Um, yes, that's right. They were on their way. They were on the way. She's scared of taking responsibility. Yep. Thank you so much for Kim says nurses knocked and listened at the door. Very few babies are delivered silently in 30 minutes, especially the first child. Mm-mm-mm. A minor can't be separated from and she's not even a minor. She's 19. She's 19. So they could have separated them. They didn't have to be in the same room. They should have actually.
Surveillance video showed Trevizio going to the bathroom in a hallway in a hurry while placing her hand at her rear end. Take a look at what a supervising nurse told police about what they found when they unlocked the bathroom door.
We did a pregnancy test on her, showed positive. She was denying that she had sex. Then she said she had to go to the bathroom.
We did a pregnancy test on her. It showed positive. She was denying having sex, and then she goes to the bathroom. That is the timeline of events. Okay? They did. So that's when the doctor said, I think she's probably miscarrying, right? Like she could be miscarrying. That's potentially what's going on with her.
She went to the bathroom. She was in there for quite a while. We kept knocking on the door. Finally, we got her to open the door, and there was blood and shit everywhere. She was cleaning it up. So we took her back to the room, and I was afraid that she knew she was pregnant. She had done something to herself. So the doctor started doing a vaginal exam on her. We had the lady come to clean the bathroom. She put the baby in the trash can, and then she put another clean liner over the top of it. Oh, wow. Okay. So when they looked in there, there was no trash in there, but it was underneath the clean bag. The baby's dead. Okay, we have him in trauma too, but she killed the kid.
Moments later, police and the charge nurse spoke to Alexee and her mother.
I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, we do have to have the police involved.
And that thing was crying. It came out with nothing.
I know. But the baby's going to have to be taken for autopsy and there'll be an investigator and everything.
I'm the charge nurse here. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Like, how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What? 9 months? Nothing was crying. Let's see. Have you watched the news of the girls that what they do to their babies and what they go to jail? Nothing was crying.
Joining me to discuss.
Y'all saw that. About a year and a half ago prior, there was a girl by the name of Alexis who in New Mexico who did the same thing. The only difference was that she actually put her baby in a dumpster. The baby survived. All right. She was in one place that could help her. She was in the one place that could help her. She could have delivered. She could have pulled the cord in that bathroom. There was so much she could have done if she did not want this, regardless if she was scared or not. Girl, bye. I'm sorry. No, I just couldn't believe it. She couldn't deliver the baby. Called in the nurse and said, "Don't tell my mom." Exactly. She could have said, "Don't tell my mom. Don't tell my mom." It seems like there's something not mentally right about her. I do believe she believed she wasn't pregnant, probably due to some kind of psychotic break. And I think that I would even believe that level of a defense if see how, like, I would totally go for that. Totally. But she knew. She knew. Oh yeah, me too. My last one I had yes, and it was very painful. That epidural didn't do shit to me. Okay, it didn't take.
This case is somebody who I think is the perfect guest to do it. He is Jerry Dugan. He was a longtime prosecutor in the homicide division of the Philadelphia DA's office and is currently a medical malpractice attorney. So Jerry, welcome to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Sure, and Jeanette, glad to help.
I want your initial thoughts on the body camera footage in this case, but also the claims by ALEXEE TREVIZO. You see it in the body camera footage. It wasn't breathing, or there was no breathing, that type of thing.
Well, I think overall, Jeanette, the defense in this case and the approach that the defendant seems to be taking through her lawyer seems to be both desperate and dangerous.
Desperate and dangerous.
Desperation is based on the fact that there's really very little direction that they could take this. This is an adult. The woman, as I recall, is 19 years old.
Yes.
Made the conscious decision to dispose of a fetus in a trash can and then cover it over in the bathroom of an emergency room. So you begin with the premise that it is difficult, if not impossible, to exonerate this woman. And apparently the direction the defense is taking is a very dangerous one, because they've apparently chosen to attack everyone else involved in the investigation and try to exclude this woman from any culpability. Specifically, the suggestion that the emergency room physicians are incompetent because they administered excessive amounts of morphine under circumstances which were not a deviation from the standard of care. And then coupled with that, argue that the forensic pathologist who conducted the autopsy, that his testing was what the newspaper describes in his own words as medieval. That to me is a very dangerous approach to the defense in this case, because attacking everyone else and attempting to exonerate a woman whose conduct borders and exceeds outrageous, in my opinion, is an act of desperation beyond many that I've ever seen before.
I love this guy. He said it perfectly. Medieval. All right. It was medieval. That's what based on the article. I love this guy because the defense is attacking everyone. They're attacking the staff, but they're getting away from the topic at hand. The nurse didn't put the baby in the trash and tie up another liner. Right. You can't. You have to remember that nurses can't force treatment. If she wanted to go to the bathroom, they can't chain her to the bed. Right, Matt? Right.
Obviously, they're claiming that this was a stillbirth. They've taken this route. They're filing. They filed a notice of intent to sue. So they're going a civil route. They're taking this to civil court. But obviously, it looks like this is possibly testing the waters for a defense in the criminal case. Like you kind of lay this groundwork, or you've got this other track you're going on, and trying to put all of this out there. They say on the body camera footage, the charge nurse clearly says she's been lying to us the whole time. She said she didn't have sex. She denied that she could be pregnant. Pregnancy test comes back. She's pregnant. She locks herself in the bathroom, won't let us in. We get the key. It's a bloody mess. Blah blah blah. I mean. Right. It's unbelievable to me that they're trying to say, oh, it was the drugs that killed the baby and the baby was stillborn. She claims it wasn't crying, or he wasn't crying, yet they find the baby in a trash bag.
Exactly.
With a knot tied around it.
Exactly.
In the first incident, the autopsy that I understand was conducted found air in the infant's lungs.
Yes.
And assuming that's a correct finding, either something or someone had to prevent that oxygen from being expelled. And the most logical way to prevent the expulsion of oxygen in an infant or in anyone is manual strangulation of closing off the airway. So the suggestion this is a stillborn and yet has oxygen in its lungs, and the claim that 0.19 nanograms of morphine was the causative agent. Keep in mind that a nanogram is 1/1000th of a gram. This was 1900ths of 1/1000th of a gram of morphine in this infant system. It is absolutely not a deviation from the standard of care in the emergency room to administer morphine to someone who is known to be pregnant. Morphine is used all the time for women who are pregnant in the emergency room setting where it's monitored for things like extraordinary back pain.
Wow.
So the fact that there was a fraction of 1/1000th of a gram of morphine found in this child's system did not kill this child.
Exactly. That's what we been saying. It wasn't the morphine. The morphine didn't cause, the baby didn't just jump in the trash can and another liner. Shout out to Mamacita says, next they're going to go after the housekeeper that found the baby. Right. What are they going to do? Blame the housekeeper? Blame the folks? Like, what else are they going to do? It's so true. I'm so glad. They're reaching every straw that they can. But then again, that's what you want your defense attorney to do, right?
And I don't think the defense can possibly find a board-certified forensic pathologist who can say this baby was killed by the hospital.
Exactly.
The argument here is you should accept what I call the Big Mac defense, that this child was not pregnant or didn't know she was pregnant. She was gaining weight as a cheerleader because she ate Big Macs every day. And what I think the defense is forgetting here, and I don't mean to malign anyone, but I've done this for more than a couple of years of my life. The jury in this case, when they could very well be using, if the defense was presented, in my opinion, properly, to use the overwhelming sympathy for this mother who arguably panicked, as opposed to suggesting that everyone else is guilty except her, borders on the desperate and dangerous. And I think jury's nullification here could very well result in the jury, when they see this photograph of the cheerleading defendant, who clearly has, for lack of a better term, a baby bump, and then to suggest, well, that's innocent enough because my boyfriend and I go to McDonald's every day. I can't conceive of a jury in this country saying, oh, that's a reasonable defense.
He said the Big Mac defense. Do we have a cheeseburger emoji in the chat? Drop a cheeseburger in the chat. Do we have? I thought we had cheeseburger emojis in the chat. He said a Big Mac defense. Lord have mercy, no. Let me see. Is there cheeseburgers in the chat? Here it is. There you go. There you go. I just dropped one. He said, oh my God, no. Sassy girl, look at this. With extra sauce. Lord, y'all drop those cheeseburgers in the chat. He said the Big Mac defense. I love that. I love this. Who is this guy? I love him.
Hospital killed this baby. I just think that defense is going nowhere.
Hello, everyone. This is Robin Warder, host of the true crime podcast, The Trail Went Cold.
Hold up. There's like a little commercial here. Let's see.
Does not look, and I look at the photo of her in the cheerleading uniform.
Right.
I mean, her legs look thinner, and then, I mean, it clearly looks like that is not from eating Big Macs, unless you're one of those people who just gains all their weight in the middle. But she's a slender 19-year-old woman. She could probably go out and eat Big Macs, 3 times a day and not gain an ounce. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like when you're younger and you've got this high metabolism and you're active. Let me ask you, I know you're not an OBGYN. Okay. Right. I know you're not a gynecologist.
I'm doing emergency room medicine, however.
Yes.
And OBGYN med mal work.
Okay. So, but I was kind of going to get maybe into the weeds a little bit on that portion of it. The baby does have air in its lungs. So when a baby is stillborn, what would you find in the lungs? Would you just find fluid, because they have to clean the baby's mouths out once they're born. Correct. Usually clean out their noses and all of that stuff with all that stuff. So what would you typically find in the lungs of a stillborn baby?
I think what you wouldn't find is oxygen. And in a stillborn baby, my understanding from an OB perspective is the liquid that you would find in a stillborn baby would be just the opposite of what the forensic pathologist claims in his autopsy found in the lungs of this baby.
Wow.
It certainly assumes that the forensic pathologist did 2 things. He eliminated all other causes of death, including this minute amount of morphine, then found the presence of oxygen in an alleged stillborn baby, and by process of elimination concluded that something caused this oxygen not to be expelled. and the fact that the only thing that was left was manual strangulation.
Mm.
And I don't think there's any way around that argument.
They make it sound like, though, that the baby was put, according to the autopsy finding, that the baby was put in an airtight environment, such as the plastic bag. So the baby was kind of breathing, but then the baby runs out of oxygen, and therefore the baby suffocates. But you think it's possible she actually maybe strangled, choked the baby, or possibly smothered the baby and then put the baby in the plastic bag? Because I'm thinking to myself, this baby, once born, likely would have made some noises in that bathroom. And the nurse, according to the timeline, is going and knocking on the door and saying, hey,
right.
Are you okay? Are you going to come out? That type of thing.
And I think you're 100% correct. But the one thing that may be lost, we are dealing with the forest for the trees here. What conceivably would be lost by defense counsel, but will not be lost by a jury, is that the conduct of this woman does not reflect evidence of innocence. It reflects evidence of consciousness.
Exactly.
Her behavior after the birth of this child is counterintuitive if she had no knowledge of pregnancy.
It's her statement, truly. I think that it's hers, even when she says it wasn't breathing, acknowledging that it came out, it's her, it wasn't breathing. I'm sorry and I'm scared. That right there. Los Federales says Ronald McDonald and Grimace are representing her. Lord have mercy. No. And everybody's saying McDonald's does not call. I can't, you guys. You're clutching your invisible pearls. Did you guys hear that? It's the intent. The intent here. She intended, she had ample opportunity to make a difference in this situation. Even if she was scared, she had ample opportunity to say, hey, this baby just came out of me. Pull that cord. Ample opportunity. She walked out of that bathroom with a paper towel. That doctor right there walked next to her and saw her socks sopping wet of blood. She left a trail of blood. She had ample opportunity to figure this out, and she did not. Okay? And the other argument to this too is like, well, just a thought. Her fear. What was she so scared of? Was she scared of her mom? The reality that she was actually having a baby, that she was like, that's a whole different avenue. And that I can understand. Like, that's something that she's going to have to talk to a therapist about. However, it doesn't take away from the opportunity, from the inaction in her part, and also the actions. Her intent here was everything. Okay? She could have done so much more.
And that she had nothing to do with the child's death. The first thing I believe an innocent mother under these circumstances would have done would have been to scream, yell, seek help, find someone that could possibly do something to help this child, when in fact, the evidence of concealment and the evidence of guilt are directly connected one to the other.
Exactly.
I just think that the defense here is losing track of what a jury is going to be influenced by. And I think one of the things they'll be influenced by is taking a look at the cheerleading photograph, take a look at the post-birth behavior, and then, in my opinion, be offended by the arguments that everyone else is at fault except the mother. I don't think enough attention is being paid by the defense to what a jury's reasonable reaction to this case would be. And I think it's going to be something that will reflect outrage on the part of a jury, that this is an argument that is turning away from a mother whose conduct is difficult to describe or accept, and make everyone else culpable. I don't think any jury, in my opinion, is going to buy that argument.
Yep. I would agree. I hope not. I hope not. And shout out to, there's no excuse for our actions. But meanwhile, millions of mothers out there want to conceive but can't, and would have done anything to take that precious baby off of her if she did not want to have it. Absolutely. 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 Shout out to the plaintiff Jane, who's in the chat. You guys make sure you check out her channel. Thank you so much, Jane, for being here.
So if you're representing the hospital and you receive this notice of intent, to file a lawsuit, a civil suit, you're representing the hospital and therefore the doctors and nurses who were involved in her care. What do you do when you receive this? What's the next step?
Well, the next step is exactly what I would have done here if on the defense side of the hospital. The first thing I would have done, obviously, is make sure that all of the charting of the admission of this woman was done accurately and that it is reflective of what actually happened. But more importantly, as a defense lawyer for the hospital, I would have retained not only a forensic pathologist, but a forensic toxicologist and also an emergency room expert. Number one, that the emergency room expert, board certified, would hopefully testify that it is not a deviation from the standard of care to administer morphine to a pregnant woman. And in fact, it is not a deviation from the standard of care.
Wow.
The second thing I would do is to have a forensic pathologist review the autopsy findings and hopefully agree that the forensic pathologist for the state who did the autopsy did it properly. And finally, I'd have a forensic toxicologist to testify that 0.19 nanograms of morphine under no circumstances contributed to the death of this child. That'd be the defense the hospital would present.
If they give, Alexee, not only the morphine, but the other drugs mentioned by her defense attorney,
right.
So you're saying it's just such a minuscule amount. Even if she's saying, no, I'm not pregnant, I've never had sexual intercourse, no way I'm pregnant, I'm getting periods and all of this stuff. You're saying that the amount of morphine, because he's directly attributing it to the morphine, even if you didn't know she was pregnant, it was
Correct.
So minuscule that no way this ever causes a baby to stop breathing.
That's the defense. They're going to have to make the argument out there. See, Taylor, Nicole, I'm there with you on this one. I agree. She would have been way better off pulling the mental health defense. A jury would probably be more sympathetic to that, right? Because even that, I was even like I would think, look, her mama's there, okay, throughout this whole thing. So I would think, and it wouldn't surprise me coming from an actual Latino household, how scared she would be of having her mom finding out that she's pregnant. So she's so scared to the point that she killed her baby. That's what she did. She got scared. That sheds a light to her ability to think, to process, to comprehend. That defense would make more sense to me than the defense of trying to attack everybody in the hospital for the things that they weren't even able to do. They weren't able to save that baby because of what she did to that baby. Not once did she say, hey, I'm going to pull the cord and you can save this baby. I'm pregnant. I'm scared. Nothing. So that's why I'm like, I would have believed a mental health defense over them attacking everyone. Just, it's not plausible. I don't like it.
Absolutely not. That morphine is administered to pregnant women in emergency rooms all the time. It is not a deviation to do it. It's done regularly because of severe pain. When there is knowledge that a woman is pregnant, morphine is still administered under certain circumstances. And the incredibly minute amount of morphine that's found here, I don't think any board certified forensic toxicologist is ever going to testify under oath that this amount of morphine contributed or caused the death of this child. I just cannot conceive there is a board certified expert out there that could honestly say that, because it's not correct.
Her attorney is also saying that the baby was positive for COVID and influenza A and B. Obviously, right. We know that influenza can be fatal in babies who've not, if they have asthma and other comorbidities. Those are other conditions that could, babies and kids die of the flu every year. So you're saying, like, even with under those circumstances, because those are respiratory illnesses, no way.
What I'm saying is that if in fact, and I have to assume that the state of New Mexico, where this case I understand is pending, as a board certified, fully qualified forensic pathologist who does autopsies for a living, looked at the toxicology, looked at the autopsy, and concluded, with nothing to gain or lose, by the way, that these did not contribute to this infant's death. There's no motivation on the part of the forensic pathologist who works for the state of New Mexico to say anything other than what the conclusions, in his opinion, are correct. On the other hand, I assume that the defense will try to identify a similarly qualified forensic toxicologist or pathologist to say the opposite. And it comes down to a battle of experts.
There you go. So they're going to have to get a bunch of experts to talk about the toxicology report and all this other stuff. I mean, I don't know, you guys. What do you guys think? Let me see what you guys are saying. Even with the C-section, you can barely get anything. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. The mom showed her control when the cops came into the house to arrest her. Right. And thank you, guys. Make sure you're hitting that like button if you're enjoying the commentary to true crime, please. And thank you. CL says the defense lawyer should be concentrating also on her mental health. And if there's any diagnosis, I'm not saying to give her a free pass, but there should be a good defense if she, yeah, CL, this is what we were saying, is like, if the defense was about her mental health state of mind, like, what, you can't take fault from her. They're trying to immediately say that this baby died before the baby was born. And unless they're going to get some expert to dispute the toxicology report, what was in her system, as well as the autopsy report, then really, what is the defense? Because the baby didn't just come out of her and jump to the trash can and double knot a liner there. It didn't do that. This is what I'm saying. I would have more preferred, I think, a defense to her mental health, but they don't want her to take fault of any of this. This is the problem. They don't want her to take fault of any of this. What would have led a woman who seemingly is doing well in school, 19 years old, has a boyfriend for almost 2 years? It sounds like they were dating. What else? Cheerleader. Okay. Academics are high. She's in pictures and various activities and whatnot. What would have led her to conceal a pregnancy? Okay, or at least deny that she's pregnant. Say she didn't even know she was pregnant. Let's just give her that. And then finds out she's pregnant when she actually delivers in the bathroom, locks herself there for 19 minutes, has the baby, is able to remove the placenta and the umbilical cord, walks out of there, puts the baby in the liner, walks out of there like nothing, doesn't say anything. This baby was in that liner for what, 40 minutes or so that we've concluded, and doesn't even scream for help, doesn't say anything. Yeah, I would be more inclined to believe that there are mental health issues, maybe issues of abuse, or something, that she was so scared that her mama was there. She couldn't trust anybody, not even the hospital staff. But that doesn't take fault from her. I'm just saying. I'm not I agree with this guy right here. I love this guy.
But Anjanette, at the end of the day, what I think is being lost here is what a jury is likely to be influenced by. A woman who has categorically, repeatedly lied. Her conduct in the bathroom is certainly consciousness of, in my opinion, of guilt rather than innocence.
Yes.
And the argument about a Big Mac defense, again, this is being lost in the weeds by back and forth minutia between experts. I don't think a jury will pay one bit of attention to that, and may very well be turned off very early in this case by looking at that photograph, listening to what the nurses say, reflective of how many times this woman lied, and then being outraged by the Big Mac defense. I think you can have all the experts in the world you want, but remember, a jury is going to decide this case, not a forensic expert. And that's what I think is being lost here.
Yep.
Well, Jerry Dugan, thank you so much for coming on to talk with us about this.
Shout out to Law and Crime. That they released. I love that. I love what they broke down there. Defense is irritating and very unlikable, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, they're kind of attacking everybody. They're attacking everybody on social media. They're attacking everybody, and it's like, wait a minute, like, no HIPAA laws were broken. Although he's going to make the defense for that. I'm waiting to hear how the court is going to decide on this. What if they do agree that HIPAA laws were broken, based on what the defense attorney is saying? Okay, we read the district attorney's motion, their response. We also read the fact that if she is having contact with Devin right now, she's violating her conditions of release. And that's not okay. It's not okay. All right, guys, I'm having to head out. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you so much for supporting me. Please hit the like button. It does help in the algorithm. Make sure you leave a comment. Your engagement is important. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this. It is very irritating as this case is going on, but we're going to be following it, and we're going to be giving commentary to it. I'll let you guys go. You guys have a great one. Rabbits out.